So, hey, bro. And hi, weirdos. It's me, Dan.
And his brother, Jake.
Well, well, I'm hoping Jake may have noticed the lack of intro music to this one.
I did. I was just going to ask.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Now, look, it may not work. I'm hoping that now that I've got a brand new Chromebook, that I'll be able to add that in post.
Wait, did you get a computer that doesn't have Windows on it?
Yeah, who needs
shit.
Windows?
How much was it? Was it expensive?
No, it was $500.
Yeah, it's expensive, but it's not.
It's not
outrageous.
like a gaming console or anything like that, but it will do
No.
the job that I need it to do.
So I put out a little episode when you weren't available.
Yeah, it was thrilling.
Yeah. And now the actual podcast is back. So thanks for bearing with me, everyone.
Yeah, the four of you.
Yeah,
maybe.
the four listeners.
Mom.
You know what? Actually, you gave me control briefly of our podcast account, and I looked, and there are like 400 or 500 people listening to each episode.
Yeah, but that's 400 or 500 downloads, which could be 400 or 500 of you listening to it.
No, I listen to it like once in a blue moon. I put it on at night so I can sleep. It just shows you how riveting it is. I do listen to it though, afterwards when I'm like driving. If I'm on a long drive, I always put this
Oh
one
yeah,
on.
I listen to it to make sure that we haven't said anything like too incriminating or damning.
Racist. Yeah. We have to go back through our past episodes and make sure that we didn't praise Vladimir Putin for anything.
Well, I don't think that we have.
I don't believe I would have, to be honest. Man.
I mean, there were the occasional memes that I put out with him sitting on a cracker, and it was Putin on the Ritz. But that was about the extent of it.
Look, who knows what's going through his head? But I know what should be going through his head. A jacketed hollow point. I don't know. Is that even controversial to say that you wish that guy was dead so the war was over? I feel like that's as controversial as saying, yeah, I'm not a fan of Hitler. I would say...
Yeah. I mean, there's that huge debate that would you kill Hitler if you could go back in time? Would you kill Hitler if you could go back in time? Like baby Hitler?
Well, hey, you're back in time. Hey, people of Russia, I'm speaking to you. You're back in time. Kill Hitler. Do it. I mean,
but yeah,
it's not. I understand. It's not their fault. Like they live in fear of this.
Oh
guy.
yeah, I don't blame the civilians of Russia. I think that would be silly.
Look, and I don't even blame the soldiers. Even though, okay, the ones who took the order to fire on the fucking nuclear plant last night, I'm like,
That's pretty shitty.
that's a fucking shitty thing to do to everybody on Earth. Thanks, guys. And I'm not a climate hippie, as you know. I'm like, drill, baby, drill. Let's build the pipelines. But fucking bombing a nuclear plant, you assholes.
It
That's
seems pretty a silly endeavor, to
Yeah.
say the least.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? A book I'm reading.
Yeah.
I don't know why I just turned into like a half Asian guy.
Do you want on the what book?
I'm reading Billy Summers, the Stephen King book.
Yeah, I finished it. I read it as soon as it came out. Great book.
So good. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, it's so good. I love the way he writes.
Nobody
I'm so
can write
glad that you
characters
told me
like
to-
him.
I'm so glad that you told me to start reading because
Yeah, you were like, I'm not going to read
it.
it. It's too scary. I'm
It's
like,
too
"What?"
depressing. I thought it was going to be like all like bad news, and I started
is
with the
depressing.
book that I thought was going to be the worst, which was, but the
Pet
pandemic.
Sematary?
No,
Oh, the Stand.
The Stand. Yeah, and I thought, oh, it's all about Satan and devil worship or whatever, but it was so good.
It
So
was
that got me onto it.
very real, wasn't it?
Yeah, but some of the short stories I don't really get it. Like they're good, but I don't really get into them.
No, some of them are his best works, though. Like, what's the book called? Four Seasons. We've talked about this, but the one with Stand By
I
Me in it.
stopped reading that one. I couldn't get into that one.
What about Stand By Me or Lean on Me? Or what was the one with River Phoenix that was the movie? Anyway, great book. It was about these
Indiana
friends.
Jones and
the
the
Body
Temple of
is what
Doom?
the book was called.
Raiders of the Lost Ark?
I think it was Return of the Jedi. No, The Body. Maybe one of his best works.
Yeah,
Really good.
I couldn't finish that one. I just found it boring.
Now, I read Bazaar of Bad Dreams, and I found that fucking super depressing. But if you read...
Good. I'll read it next, because you know my anhedonia, is that what you call it, where I don't
Yep.
feel anything? Sometimes I just like a little bit of fear or depression, just to make sure I still feel.
Yeah. I find the news has provided me with ample fear and depression.
You know what? But now I am seeing a little bit through the news. Like, we've had terrible floods here. Like,
Yeah.
really devastating for a lot of families. But they're still commenting on the news today. It's bright, it's sunny. I've got the aircon on because it is so hot.
Yeah.
And
there's
they still
literally water vapor boiling out of the earth.
Yes. And they'll have reporters out. They'll find the one flooded street that still remains. And
Yeah, of
they'll
course.
be wearing jeans and they will wade through the water and like, oh, it's so devastating. I'm like, yes, it is really awful for those people who are affected. But
It's
you're
not that
dragging this on now.
It's just
like,
a fucking flood. It's the same as
Yeah.
any flood.
Yeah,
Now they
it's-
come
it-
up with these new terms. They're like, it's an atmospheric fucking river. No, it isn't. It's just fucking rain. It's happened since the beginning of time. There was rain before there were amoebas. It wasn't an atmospheric river. This isn't something new. It's just raining a lot.
Yeah.
But, it used to drive Dad crazy, the sensationalism on the news, because they would always report from from Hurricane Alley, right? And anytime there was a weather event, this was between like the Gulf War I and Gulf War II, and there was nothing else on the news. So the reporters who were like, give me the Emmy or whatever the reporting award is. I don't know.
Yeah.
The Golden Mike. I don't know. Give me the award for reporting. They would stand in like a fucking wind tunnel between two buildings so that their hair was really blowing around, and then they would pretend they were in serious danger. It was like Category 2 hurricane. Like, we get 4 of those a year here.
Yeah, and it's not to like undermine or understate the horrible things that people have had to go through that are affected by those.
Look,
things,
I'm
but-
not saying the victims of Katrina are trying to pull a massive fraud. I'm
No,
saying
I
these are
just
like the
think-
little hurricanes, the names you don't remember. Wilma,
That's
Terrence,
my dog's name. Oh, my dog's name. No.
Hurricane Richard. Who remembers Hurricane Richard?
I used to say, my boss used to hate that I shortened his name to Dick.
Oh, yeah.
And it's mainly because his name was actually Steve. But
Oh man. So I've got an interesting little paranormal
paranormal.
a paranormal.
Is
It's,
that like
when
a
your
little
mouth-
itch on your ear, or
No, it's when your mouth is haunted. Paranormal.
the
It's a
paranormal?
paranormal experience.
Oh, you went ORAL. I went
I still
AUR.
feel the tooth that got pulled out last year.
It's phantom pain. Woo!
The ghost of dentition past. No, I had a little paranormal experience. I thought
Did you just?
since this is a true crime / paranormal podcast, it no longer covers
which
either
fizzled
of those.
out so quickly, mainly because I gotta say, the other podcasts do a much better job at covering true crime than us.
That's
We
true.
did very, very little research, so like whatever.
We basically did Wikipedia.
Yeah, and other people were like calling.
Do you remember, like, you
Friends
did
of
the
the victims.
BTK killer, and
Yeah.
now we did say what did we call him? The universe's biggest
Oh, shit hat.
shit hat,
Mm.
and I think that was unique content. But
yeah.
Mr. Ballin has a podcast now. Why would you listen to us for
exactly.
let's hear about those murders in Gainesville? I know who I'll turn to. The One Foot in the Grave podcast.
which when you Google brings up a podcast about a UK television show called One Foot in the Grave.
I think that's why we have the audience we have. They were all like,
no.
You know what my favorite soap opera was?
If you found this podcast and you actually listened to it by searching for the UK television show One Foot in the Grave, let us know. I'd like to be in. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by that.
What's our email address?
I've forgotten the password. So
One Foot in the Grave podcast at gmail.com or at Weebly.com.
Yeah, you can go to One Foot in the Grave podcast.weebly.com.
Right.
But no one's going to
and
do
we're
that.
going, big news, we're starting a new podcast. It's called the Young and the Restless podcast.
Oh.
www.daysofourlivespodcast.com.
I thought maybe you could tell us about your adventures in the hospital, and we could call it something, I don't know, like General Hospital podcast.
General Hospital.
Yeah,
generalhospitalpodcast.com. When I was in college, remind me because I do have a little weird paranormal thing that happened to me. But
in your mouth. Yeah.
Paranormal. I had a paranormal experience with Dr. Fraser. And his, Invisalign.
No.
No, don't worry. He's out of the practice now. His son sued him. Anyway,
I know about it.
I love Fraser. He was a great guy. And
he's not
son
dead.
is a bit of a jerk. Well, we don't know. By the time this airs, there could have been nuclear winter.
No,
it's hard to say. I was quite convinced last night.
What were we saying about sensationalizing the media?
Well, listen, last night when they bombed the
if you're
nuclear
listening to
power
this,
plant,
congratulations, you have not been vaporized.
Yeah. To all our fans and cockroaches who may be listening.
That would be the luck of the human race, is that it is cockroaches, and the only station that you can get on your radios and Apple Podcasts is One Foot in the Grave.
Just
the show that
to
starts
listen to
with
every
me
episode.
telling you how stinky my shit was.
Oh shit, what was I going to say? Last night when they bombed the nuclear power plant, I mean, Ukraine has had the biggest nuclear disaster of all time, which we talked about in detail on our episode that isn't named Chernobyl. It's called something completely unrelated. So good luck finding it. But we talked about it before the show ever came out. That was like 4 years ago.
No, we talked about it, and then the show came out right after. Like, they announced that show is coming out. We're just like, well, look, I guess we're not just going to... We can't do mainstream disaster.
It's not going to be unique content. We should tell them about the time the sinkhole opened up on Rossay Avenue and swallowed the front half of a car.
It's kind of like, remember when I can't remember the name of the book, but I read it that you wrote, and I was like, this is so good. Like, it was about zombies. And then literally a couple of weeks
son
later...
of a bitch. Yeah, Loathsome Things, that book was called.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you appreciated it because The Walking Dead came out a month after I finished it, and it never got published because everybody thought it was copying the TV show.
You thought it was like fan fiction of The Walking Dead, where you explained this moment where an old guy got his hand bitten by a zombie, and he had to use a hatchet to cut
Son
it
of a
off.
bitch, that's right, I forgot about that.
And then I was watching The Walking Dead, and I was like, huh, that's funny. This is exactly the same as Jake's book.
But it came out a year before, but it was never published. I feel like,
Yeah.
you know what,
Well,
and it
also,
wasn't
The
that good
Walking
a
Dead
book.
was, I guess, what do you call it, a comic book.
A comic book before, I think, but I never read comic books. But I will say,
We read Garfield.
just a shameless plug for myself here. Oliver Bell in the Infinite Multiverse.
I haven't started that one yet.
Okay, don't start it because I'm redoing the first chapter, but otherwise, it's going to be a good book, and it's going to be on Amazon.
You know, what I would
And
like you to do
if you guys
is,
would buy it, please. Jeez,
you know
get
what,
me the hell
you know
out
what
of
we're
this
going
job.
to do? Actually, you know what we're going to do?
What's that?
We're going to make it into an audiobook and put it on Audible.
It is going to be an audiobook. I'm actually hiring somebody to read it.
No, I'll read it. You hire me.
Okay.
Hire me to read it.
Can you do
Because-
voices?
Yeah, of
Can you
course
do
I can
Irina,
voices.
the red demon from Ukraine?
No, it will be, hi, I'm Irina. Hi, it's me.
You're hired. Congratulations, sir.
Yeah, I still got it. I still got it.
So I have had some exciting news. God, I'm jumping topic to topic without telling you anything. But the exciting news is that, okay, do you remember like years back I wrote a screenplay that got picked up?
No.
Okay, I wrote a screenplay. At the time, it was called Sarson's Dog, and it was based on a book that I wrote that won an award here in New Brunswick called In the Company of Carnivores. Sarson's Dog was like the second chapter of that book, and
Yeah.
it's about hunting in New Brunswick. It's it's a very local story, and the guys from Hemmings House asked me, "Can you put in a screenplay for this? But you only have 2 days to finish it."
Oh,
And
yes,
thought-
I do remember. Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought, holy shit. So I worked until like 5 a.m, 2 nights in a row, and I finished the screenplay. And I sent it to Steve, who submitted it that day, and it won a production grant for $50,000. But then COVID happened, and all production got shut down in New Brunswick. So, interestingly, I thought the thing had died, and I never thought about it again. And Steve wrote me back and said, "Hey, would you be interested in letting Terry have a crack at your screenplay, like using your screenplay, but actually making it a screenplay? Because since I don't know the format or how to write one." And I said, "Yeah, of course, man, do whatever you want." So Terry, who's my editor for Oliver Bell, is hired to write the screenplay for Sarson's Dog, which he's changed the name to Molly's Hollow, but whatever. And there could be a movie coming out. That's
Nice.
shit out of
Would you
my
get-
brain. It's like my brain
mean-
gave birth to a turd, and now you can smell it.
Apologies in advance that we're not really flood affected, but there has been a bit of runoff, and our neighbor has got like a mini dozer thing. And
Oh, is there a caterpillar going off in your yard?
yeah, if there's any opportunity for him to use it, he's out there. So
That's like me and my ride-on lawnmower.
it's the opposite for me. I'm desperate to buy a new motorcycle. I want one so bad.
What do you want?
A motorcycle.
But what kind?
A Harley. I want a Fat Boy. I think it suits me both in size and in name.
Now, I loved the Harley Fat Boy was the bike I wanted when I got my Super Glide Custom. And then I test drove one, and I didn't love it as much as I liked the Dyna. The Dyna was a lot easier to ride. It's
Yeah,
funny.
well, I did my license, so now I've got an open license, like I can ride whatever
You can
I
ride
want.
whatever you want.
And they put me on this really like a sport bike, which
Yeah.
you have to lean over, and the handlebars are bent down.
Short.
And,
Yeah.
ugh, uncomfortable to the maximum.
Well, to do your license, though, it's probably a lot easier on a sport bike because they can
Oh, well,
do the
yeah.
turns and go between
Yeah,
the
yeah.
pylons and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, I wasn't going to do it on a Road King, but
No.
which, ironically, when I was back home, I tried to do. Remember?
That was
I think
on
it was-
Dad's Virago.
Virago.
Yamaha
Yeah.
Virago 1100 or 1000. Yeah.
That was a heavy bike. So
You failed
for
your
a six,
license.
well, I didn't even go for it actually, because for a 16-year-old kid, it was just too big. I was just like, nah, this is not for me. Little did I know that there were smaller bikes. So yeah. Anyway,
I went up with you to get your license, but you didn't get it. I remember that.
I don't know if I did the test though. Did I?
I think you did because the guy said you have to get him practicing on that bike, between the pylons, because you did a couple of turns between pylons and then you just rode out in a straight line. But in fairness to you, that bike would not do that. It had the big rake of the front wheel. It was way the hell out in front of you. It's like a chopper.
I just remember it being
It was like
so
the Captain
big.
America bike from what the hell is that movie called?
Captain America.
Easy Rider.
So tell me about your haunted mouth.
Yeah, so it's actually my haunted office. It was quite weird.
At
so,
the hospital?
No, here at home.
Right.
So I've been having these weird feelings in my office lately, and I thought it was just because I was working too much. Because my normal schedule is I work during the day and then come home, and I work for a couple hours at night, but I usually don't work until super late. But because everyone's out with COVID, for the last couple of weeks, I've been working till midnight, pretty much every night, more or less, like a couple nights off. And so I thought, oh, I'm just fucking so tired of this office. I just don't want to be here anymore. But I was getting this weird feeling like, get out of the office kind of thing. Anyway, so...
Check Yelp.
Yeah, check Yelp. So, episode 1. Go back and listen to it. So, last night I was working. I still had 3 cases to read, and it was like 11:30 at night. And I said, you know what? I've got to just wake up early and do them in the morning. And so I went out. I poured myself a glass of water, and I was going to go up to bed. I said, fuck, maybe I can do one... just one study, and then I'll only have 2 in the morning. I can sleep till 6:15 or whatever. So I went to go in my office, and I opened the door, and I swear, for just like a second, not even quite a full second, there was this old bald dude sitting in my chair, and he looked like the old guy from the commercial for Six Flags. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's like the old dancing bald guy who's like wearing a rubber bald head. Anyway, that guy was sitting in my office chair looking at the computer and I knew that guy's reading his emails. And I thought, holy shit. And then he was gone, and it was just my chair. I said, I think I'll work in the morning. I must be too tired. So I went up to bed, made sure that the nuclear apocalypse hadn't quite started yet. And apologies to anybody who's triggered by that if it has happened by the time the episode is published.
Jeez.
But then in the morning, like, my alarm goes off at 5:45, and I get up, have a shit, and come downstairs. And sure enough, as I come around the corner, I'd forgotten all about this. I look in my room, and the old bald guy is sitting on my office chair. He's sitting there looking at the computer screen again. And I thought, oh, that was real. There's a guy. And then he was gone again, and it was just my chair. Now, it's a tan chair. It's about the same color as an old bald man's head would be. Mm-hmm. So maybe it's just a weird, like, the way the light hits the chair or something. But I swear it was real. Like, it was an old bald guy wearing a plaid shirt sitting in my chair. And then he was gone. I'm sitting in the chair right now, by the way.
You're sitting in the chair right now. Well, nice to meet you, old bald man. Turns out it's just your reflection.
Yeah.
I can almost see this like a cartoon, like where you see it and you do that, like, both fists on your eyes, and you're like, wee, 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 wee. And then you take your fists away, and the guy's gone. You're like, oh, I must just be tired.
So, ironically, it's funny that you say that. I was doing that chapter 1 of Oliver Bell. I was doing it again today, and trying to fix it up. And there's one point where he's got this error message that keeps coming up on his screen. He's writing a code that's important in the book later.
Yeah, no spoilers, thanks, mate.
Yeah. So, and he gets this error message, and I talk about him, like, rubbing his eyes, trying to make it go away. It's like, is that too much of a trope? Is that too... But anyway, I do it all the time. I'm like, is that a lung nodule? And then I rub my eyes, and I look at it again. I'm like, fuck, it's still there. Now I got to report this thing.
Yeah, I think, actually, there is... When you rub your eyes, it's because... you're stimulating your vagus nerve or some shit, and it slows your heartbeat. So when you get stressed, we typically will, like, rub our head or rub our eyes.
Or put our finger in our butthole.
Well, I mean, typically we take it out before we rub our eyes. And that's why conjunctivitis is the main symptom of COVID. I'm so stressed. I'm going to rub my eyes.
I have to suck on my thumb and then put it in my bum and then suck on it again. And now I have COVID.
I thought it was just me.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually knew a kid who used to pick his ass all the time at school.
Oh my gosh. He probably had a nasty case of worms.
Probably. Yeah. It could explain why we were all so thin until we got to college.
Well, you'd expect that. I mean, I've only wormed myself since being in vet school, so
I've never.
I doubt you've never wormed yourself.
No.
I mean, I know that when I was a baby, I shat out like a 2-foot long tapeworm.
By baby, you mean when I was in my mid-20s.
No, because I used to sneak over to our neighbor's house, crawl through their doggy door, and sleep with the dog and the puppies.
Lads. Yeah.
And then I shot out this huge tapeworm. Mom took me to the hospital, and it made the nurse faint. Now,
Yes,
I don't
that's
know.
true.
I don't know if that is true, that the nurse would have fainted. But it's maybe one of those implanted memories. Like, I don't remember it, but it's been
But it's what Mom told us happened.
Yeah, and it's been
Mom
told
and
as
Dad.
truth so many times that I'm just like, well, that's definitely what's happened. But I'm like, nurses see people like with partial decapitations.
Yeah, although I'll say this, I had a nursing student with me the other day, and I was doing a procedure, and she fainted and hit her head on the ground, and it sounded like somebody dropped a coconut off a third-story balcony. It was just this whack sound. So I sent her for a
Gross.
CT. So I got to make
she's
money
dead.
off it anyway.
Janet, put more jelly on the floor. We need to make another $23 this afternoon.
I was going to tell you a really weird story. This is not a paranormal story. This is. Have we talked about the guy who tried to give me a blowjob?
No.
All right. Viewer discretion is advised. So, when I was at Dal, I used to drive home on the weekends sometimes, and I'd have to drive back, and I always put it off as long as I could. I would be like, oh, I'll just have a nap in the afternoon and then drive at night. And this one time I was driving, and it was like I didn't even leave home until 10 at night. Sorry, this is my buddy from
you,
Kiev.
Mr.
Just
Popular. Just a second. We've got to now read the texts, let alone we have to listen to the ding. Now you're going to stop mid-story.
Многие из вас видели меня по телевизору.
Oh, it's Jamie Heinemann's from Ukraine, I bet.
Что-то сказать. Русский военный корабль.
Okay.
Иди
Russian
нахуй.
worship? Go fuck yourself.
Russian soldiers? You know what? You should just go home. Just go home. You know what you're doing is
I love Jamie. Anyway, we're gonna lose our content here if we lose our copyright is what I'm saying. Anyway,
We don't.
yeah.
have a
So
copyright.
I used to live in Halifax, and
I'm pretty sure that our episodes are free to use, so you can play this in your shops.
I know. But you know what happens? Actually, I have a YouTube channel, Foxy Gear Reviews, that is monetized. Right? It actually gets a fairly good amount of views. It doesn't have a lot of subscribers, but it's got about 1,300 subscribers. But some of the videos have I don't know victims. Some of my victims have over 300,000 views because I do these guitar reviews. But what happens is if you play a song that somebody else wrote, so like if I cover a Jimi Hendrix song or whatever, I get a copyright strike on the video, and any money that I make from the video goes to Jimi Hendrix or Sony Music or whatever.
Yeah.
So, any money that we make from this in the future, when this podcast becomes popular, will go to Jamie Heinemann. We're only 4 years in. We're just babies. This could take off.
4 years. Has it been 4 years? Jeez.
Dad died
Time
in
flies.
Did Dad die in 2018? Or
Yeah.
20? Yeah, shit. And we started this podcast right when he got sick, right?
Yeah, but
Because-
it was December 2018, though. It was like the end of 2018.
So we started this podcast in the summer of 2017. So now it's 2022. So it'll be 5 years in the summer.
Oh my gosh.
That's fucking crazy.
Give me my 5 years back.
Look at all the content we've creted in that time. It's
55 episodes.
Upwards of 50 episodes. Over 10 episodes per year. Strict timeline. Content. That's what they say.
Well, what's kind of funny is that I had another podcast.
It was so
called
funny.
called Ask the Vets.
Yeah.
And it got on the top 10 podcasts.
For Australia.
So yeah, it was like really high up because I was posting every week. And then I was like, this is boring. I stopped posting and it just died. It died so fast.
How many subscribers did you have on that podcast?
Oh, I have no idea. I've completely forgotten. It was too long ago now.
But did you ever? Nobody ever offered you money or anything like that. See, it's a good idea, but it's a business idea, and if we're doing a podcast, usually it's just for fun.
Yeah. Like as soon as you try to like make money out of something like this, it becomes a job, and you know how I feel about jobs. Anyway, speaking of jobs,
Yeah, the blowjob story.
You were offered one. Yeah.
Yeah. I beat him up. Why? He asked me something about a job. No, that's not this story. So this night I left home at like 10:30, home in St. John, New Brunswick. I was driving to Halifax, Nova Scotia, and it's about a 4.5 hour drive, 4 hours, 4.5 hours, depending on traffic and weather and stuff. And I got to there's an Irving station, a gas station, about halfway between in Amherst, and I said, "Oh, I'll stop there." Or in Sackville, actually. I'll stop there and fill up with gas.
Bagtown.
Get a coffee because there's a Tim's right there. And went in, got my gas, and I had to pee, so I went to the bathroom. And somebody tried to get into the bathroom while I was in there. And I said, "Oh, occupied." You know how you do. And and the guy kept wriggling the goddamn doorknob, the lever.
Don't blaspheme.
And then I figured it was an old deaf guy, so I said, "Occupied," and he stopped. "Occupied. Leave me alone."
I'm laying pipe. What is it? That's not. Maybe that's fucking. I can't remember.
My body, my choice. Anyway, so I don't know where I was going with that, but so I never thought of it again, and I got on the road, and I was about 15 minutes, 20 minutes from there, and the guy behind me started flashing his lights at me. So, oh, shit. I was in a shitty car, and it was feeling wibbly wobbly, like the whole time I was like, "Oh, this needs an alignment." But it was a car that was cheaper than the tires that were on it were worth. Have you ever had one of those?
No, I've never had it.
It was, I think it was Dodge Lancer. It was Nanny's. And I just thought, I'm not going to fix the fucking tires or the alignment. I'm just going to drive it, and when it's done, it's done. And I'll just walk after that. So I didn't pull over right away, but he flashed, and I was like, "Fuck, it's definitely a flat tire. Why didn't I notice it?" I was kind of feeling stupid, so I pulled over, and I got out, and the guy pulled in behind me. I got out of the car, and I checked the tires, and I was like, "All the tires are good. What the fuck?" So then I thought maybe he saw something fall out of my car. Maybe I dropped my wallet or my phone. It was before phones, but whatever.
You dropped your wallet, yeah.
So I went back to his car, and the dude had like all these clothes hanging in his car, like hanging from the holy shit bar, that you hold on to.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've never seen anyone actually use that for laundry, but he was obviously some kind of traveling salesman. Anyways, this bald dude with glasses and non-threatening kind of guy. And so I walked up to the window and I kind of shrugged at him, and he rolled down the window and he said, "This is going to be a little embarrassing, but do you remember me?" And I said, "Do I remember you?" "No." He said, "All right, this sounds weird, but a week ago you were on that rugby team and I gave you a blowjob in that bathroom of the Irving." And I said, "The rugby team?" I was like, "What the fuck?" I said, "No, man, look at me. I'm not a rugby player. What are you talking about?" He said, "Look, are you just being shy? I don't want to be too forward, but I'm pretty sure it was you who came through last week in the other direction." I said, "No, I don't play rugby, and I definitely didn't get a blowjob from you." But I think he thought I was being coy, or I don't know what. Maybe this is just his line, right? He said, "Well, now that we're here, do you want a blowjob?" And I said, "No, man, I'm good." That's what I said. "I'm good." And I said, "See you later." And I walked back to my car thinking like, is he going to kill me? I don't know. I walked back to my shitty car and I got in and I drove off, and he followed me, and he followed me the whole way into Halifax. He followed me like bumper to bumper the whole way. And finally I was crossing the bridge and I was like, this guy's going to know where I live. He was following me into, along the road to my house. And so I called the police and I said, this is going to sound weird, but there's this weird old bald dude who's like trying to fillet me, and he's following me to my house, and I wondered if you guys could intercept him and I'll just drive around the city. And they were like, did he threaten to hurt you? And I said, no. They said, but you think he's trying to rape you? I said, not exactly. I said, he's trying to give me oral sex? I said, I just don't want him to know where I live. They said, well, we recommend that you stop at a grocery store or something and go in. I was like, this is the police, right? So,
Hopeless.
so I drove to the grocery store parking lot, pulled in, and he kept driving. And then I was like, fuck yes. The police were
Well,
actually
maybe
right.
the police know what they do.
Yeah.
Take it back.
Turns out they knew
back
what they
seats.
were talking about. But I thought, it can't be, like, the guy must be having a mental breakdown. Even if I saw, okay, if I was a single man, and I saw
But
the
isn't
hottest
that-
girl that I'd ever seen in my life going in to pee in a gas station truck stop bathroom, there's no way I would try to work my way in through the door and then flash my lights at her and come up to her car and say, can I suck your clitoris? You know, it would never, in a million years, that would never happen. So the guy must have been having some kind of mental breakdown, or he
Didn't
was
that-
just a pervert.
Wasn't that
I guess.
the way that Ted Bundy got all of his?
Well, no,
victims?
I think he was like pretending to hitchhike, or no, he picked up hitchhikers, didn't he?
I don't know. I'm sure one of them.
He had the tan
Right.
beetle. I remember this from your podcast. when you did 2 episodes about Ted Bundy and you gave up. I think we gave up on true crime halfway through episode 2 when you were like, he escaped from prison, some other shit happened, there was a sorority. I don't know, fuck this. The story's going on too long.
It was really boring.
Well, it's just been told so many. Everybody knows the story.
Well,
You
except
can't do
obviously
an
me now.
original. I didn't know it either. 4 years
I
ago,
thought-
true crime podcasts were not where they are now.
I thought that. Well, I don't know. Maybe it was. What was Manson? What was his first name? Charles
Marilyn?
Manson.
Oh,
No.
Charlie.
Charles. I think one of them would flash their lights and then someone would pull over, or they would loosen the bolts on their tires, so then he could come up and say, "Hey, I'll help you with your tire," and then kill them. So
Yeah,
maybe
Charlie-
that's what was
Charlie-
going on.
Charlie didn't actually kill anybody. You know, he wasn't such a bad guy. I didn't know. Just kidding. He was a fucking lunatic. But he actually had he was like a cult leader, and he gave all the cult members LSD, and he kind of gave them these talks, like TED Talks, but they were Charlie Talks back in the day, before Netflix. And he like tried to inspire them, and he inspired them to start a race war by killing Sharon Tate.
I mean, it wasn't TED Talks, but they were Charlie Chats.
Charlie Chats. That'd be a great Netflix series. Charlie Chats. And you just pick some random lunatic who like tries to man, there's a fucking race war coming, brother. You gotta know what side you're on. How fucking stupid.
Man.
How stupid is racism, by the way? Like I'm hoping that look, this war in Ukraine is fucking horrendous. My friends are all from Ukraine, like not all, but like all the liftoff capital folks, all from
Yeah.
Ukraine, and they're great people. And this war is a fucking nightmare. But if anything good is going to come of this, maybe it will be that we take a step back and go, maybe we've been going a little hard on the plastic straw thing.
Well,
Maybe
it's
we've
really
been
funny.
kind of pushing this carbon tax a little too hard.
So these huge floods have, like, really they did ravage Queensland
Australia.
for There was megatons of junk flowing, like, into the river, like
Sure.
not just like rubbish from the street, but like pontoon boats and
trees.
entire wharves were
Yeah.
like blown into the ocean, and it's all washing up on some of the islands. And Mum looks at me and goes, "Oh, thank goodness we got rid of those plastic straws."
Well, it's like the Japanese tsunami when it washed an entire city into the ocean.
Yes.
And, we're like, oh, you know what we need? More carbon tax. You know what
Yeah.
we need right now? You know what Canadians need right now? To pay more money for gas.
Oh,
Fucking idiots.
yeah. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is completely messed up.
To our American listeners, I'm a little bit envious of the fact that your government is actually able to at least make pipelines so you can get fucking gasoline. Because we can't even do that. Our government said pipelines were bad for the environment. So we're just going to rely on Russian oil and gas.
Well,
Turned out great.
maybe it will spark the next, iteration of environmentally friendly vehicles. Because if they can make a car that could travel, because I travel like 300, 400 kilometers a day sometimes.
Yeah.
If they could make an electric car that could do that, I'd have one. If
Look, it's coming. I'm hoping.
Or $100,000 to buy one.
I would say we're only like a couple battery generations from a car that can drive from one side of Canada to the other on a single charge. And when that happens, yeah, I'm going to change for sure. What the hell? What? I don't. It's not that I want to burn gas. I don't really care. But the fact of the matter is, like an electric car right now, in the winter when you're running the heater and trying to defrost your windows, like I can get to the hospital, but I can't get home.
Yeah.
Oh, it has a range up to 350 miles. Not in the cold, it doesn't.
No.
Anyway. I'm obviously thrilling you with this
So that all the viewers
conversation.
out there know, Dan's sitting in an air-conditioned room talking and playing, while his mother sweats it out in the 30-degree humid heat.
Yeah, it is warm out. It's warm. It's
Did
warmish.
all the snakes go up the trees again, like the last time when I was there and it flooded?
No, but the spiders,
There's a huge green bug on the screen.
I know
The things
Aaron
that bother
wouldn't
Mum
approve,
are
but I
really
would just
funny,
spray Raid over everything.
like, Mum had a spider in her bedroom, and it totally freaked her out. And I was like, "Oh, that's just a huntsman." So I guess I have acclimatized a little bit to the creepy crawlies.
Now,
But-
if you were in Asia, you'd be like, dinner.
Gross.
Did you see the? Have you ever seen those Asian markets where they it's not Asian, it's Chinese, where they sell like bugs on a stick and shit like that?
Yeah.
And the
Yeah,
chicken,
I saw it on. Oh, yeah, you
chicken
just
fetuses.
watched An Idiot Abroad.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
we were
the
watching
one
it.
where he's the guy is eating the not fermented, the fertilized egg.
Yeah. It's like, what are you doing eating a fetus? At least let it live for a minute.
Yeah, that show is great. Well, anyway, I don't have anything else to contribute because I don't have a life.
Man, well, it's been so long
Wait.
since we
Oh
did
yeah, you did. I've already forgotten about your paranormal experience.
my paranormal experience, my blowjob experience.
Oh my gosh, you have lived. You have lived.
Well, that was a long time ago.
Even my wife doesn't offer me blowjobs.
Shit. I don't know. Have we talked since I sold my camp? I don't even think we have. I think it was for sale on the last episode that we did.
Yeah.
But I sold our fishing camp, and I actually bought the big
Another
fishing camp that you and I went to with Mom and Dad, and it's like a hotel. It's fucking idiotic. I can't believe I did it. It was the dumbest thing I've ever done. But
property is where you should be investing your money at the moment. So
yeah, it's not like it's in a bubble or anything.
in a bubble.
Fucking the real estate bubble is nuts. In Canada, I don't know what I was thinking. I paid more for this camp than I paid for my house. I'm a complete moron. I basically spent the whole wad. I was like, I saved for 11 years. Fuck it. Let's buy a hotel. But never rent it out.
No. That was my one thing. There's just no sharing. I don't share.
Weirdly enough with this place, so it came with a groundskeeper who I have to employ. And the only way I can employ him is by renting it out a few days a year. I need to rent it out 10 days a year at the most.
Mm-hmm.
But I said, okay, I can do this, but I can only rent it to people that I know and like who I... But the problem is I got to charge quite a bit to rent it out. It's a big place. Rent it to you and your friends or whatever. But
so when
I'm
you
in a
come
bit of a
down, when you
bind.
come back to Canada, Daniel, you should stay.
well, you can stay there
at
for
my
free.
I know, yeah. For free. But I mean, plus or minus $1,000 a night.
But when I bought the place, they were like, "You are going to have people knocking down the door to rent this place. You don't understand how many calls you're going to get. Everybody wants a place to go with its own fishing pool, and you've got it." I said, "Yeah, okay. Well, then I can pay for Pat for 2 years. Pat's the dude who does the property maintenance, and I promised him 2 years. And then I said, well, we got to slow down after that because I have no interest in renting the place out. I just wanted a cottage, but I'm trying to be nice." He's a good guy. And he is helpful. I mean, I'll say he's a good guy, like super helpful, but, fuck, man. So I was like, okay, I don't have to worry about this. It's going to get rented. There's a list of people who call every year, and he's like, by the end of February, you'll have the place fully rented for the summer. I got one call from this, doctor who I used to his kids used to babysit me. And he said, "Are you renting that place out?" And I said, "Yeah, it's now for you guys, it's $1,000 a night. For anybody who hasn't rented it before, it's $1,400 a night." And he said, I'm used to paying $200 a night." I said, "What the fuck?" I said, I'm not renting out for that. I'll fire Pat. He's a nice guy, but I'm not gonna rent it out all summer. Anyway,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
he agreed. He's doing 2 nights at my rate, which I thought was
there
pretty
you go.
good. Yeah. So I only need to rent it out 8 more nights, and I've paid for Pat.
You could put it on Airbnb or something like that.
I don't want to rent it to strangers. It really freaks me out.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't. But if you're gonna get $1,000 a night, fuck, why not?
Would you lie in a puddle of some stranger's cum for for fucking $500 after tax?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I do it for. I pay to do it when I stay at a hotel.
This is either blood, semen, or urine. God, I hope it's urine.
Yuck. Yeah, I do, because my job, now that we're kind of normalizing a little bit, I'm doing a lot more traveling.
Have you guys have not had COVID that you know of?
That I know of, no.
Mom was sick though. She got there. So Mom traveled over. That's new as well.
Oh yeah, Mom's here. She's been here for a month.
And she's there till when? April 20th?
Yeah, something around there, yeah.
420.
Ooh.
But she went over and immediately got sick. I told her, I said, "You're going to get sick. You can't,
Well, I
you
think
gotta be
what
careful."
happened is that she left her N95 mask on the entire flight.
Right.
So she didn't eat or drink. So she was pretty much like treating herself like a war prisoner.
Right,
Prisoner
right.
of war. So
Yeah.
I think she got here and she was pretty dehydrated.
She's like, "I'm not sitting in the seat. I'll just squat in the aisle for 17 hours in a stress position."
That's right. So yeah,
Can you
I think
play
that's
really
why
loud heavy metal music for me? Because
that's right.
it
I
will
don't want to
offend my
sleep.
Muslim senses.
I'm worried my mask might slip off if I doze. So if you see my eyes closed, come and poke me in the eye. So I think that's why she felt pretty rotten. I felt so terrible after my 3rd COVID vaccine that
Yeah,
I
me
thought
too.
maybe I've caught it. But I don't think so. I think it was just that I felt like shit.
I felt like absolute garbage for 24 hours after my 3rd shot. And you know what I did? I was stupid. I got my shot, and I was like, I had the night to myself, which never happens. Jack and Chrissy were out or whatever. And so I went to a Thai food restaurant and ordered pad Thai. And I was like, awesome. And to go. And I took it home, and I put on Netflix. I started eating pad Thai, and I got about 10 bites in, and I was like, gonna throw up now.
This was an error.
Not gonna vomit. How am I gonna do this? So I spent the rest of the night trying not to vomit, and now I'm like, man, everybody's getting COVID. I'm knock on wood. And I'll probably get it this week, but I'm the only interventional radiologist with kids who hasn't had it.
Yeah,
But the
Alice's
bad
class-
side is I've had to work fucking nonstop because the other guys have had it. I've been at work since
Alice's
Christmas.
class of 30 is down to 6. All of them are off with COVID.
There are only 6 kids in her class?
Now, yeah.
That's
The
nuts.
rest, I don't know. So,
Now, she
yeah,
must be vaccinated. How the hell would she not get it?
I don't know. But yes, she is vaccinated.
Yeah.
But just, Mom's here. Yeah, she's correcting. Mom's all about the semantics when it comes to depressing information. She's your source.
She only has one vaccination.
She's not fully vaccinated, Daniel.
It was the largest reactor in Europe.
So yeah, we could have a Mum's the Word session where Mum gives all the bad news of the world. They say Putin sleeps next to that red button.
Stephen. Stephen has COVID.
Stephen has COVID. Chantal has COVID.
They say his diabetes is out of control.
They think that it'll be very lucky if he keeps that leg.
His testicle fell right off. He woke up and it was in the bed beside him.
And the dog ate it. Right in front of him. Right in front of his eyes.
I'm getting old. I'll have dementia soon. I saw the bones of your father in the bed next to me last night. It was so strange. It was all just bones and mustache.
Oh my gosh, we really should get her on to tell the bad news of the world because I reckon that is hilarious.
It could be the new Cryptid Corner. Bad news of the world.
Yeah, Mum's the word.
What's the word? I think Putin has psychosis. I think he has Lewy body dementia.
Tell me more bad news, Mum.
He has the biggest arsenal of atomic weapons in the world.
Dishwasher's full and needs to be turned off.
Oh. The bins need to go out. The dishwasher's full and it needs to go on.
There's a snake hanging over your swimming pool. I think it looks poisonous.
Laugh if you will, but we need that dishwasher.
We did get a new... Mum helped us get a new dishwasher because our other one no longer worked.
Yeah, the Bosch.
And-
You didn't like the Bosch.
Yeah, the Bosch. And it completely shat itself, basically.
What did you get as a replacement?
We got a
Whirlpool?
Miele. A Miele.
Miele.
And
That word
you know,
was French
true-
for millie.
we put it in. And we can't open the cupboard next to it that has all of... So, yeah. It's
The
good
dishwasher is an inch too long. You can't open the cupboards. You're gonna have to
It's
buy
a
new
fire
pods.
hazard.
I don't know why Mom's Jewish in my voice. She doesn't sound like
What
that.
are you doing here? Alice is here. She likes the bad news. Do you have any bad news, Alice?
High school drama.
Oh, yeah, that's my life.
So she's into high school drama.
And every day we're hopping in the pool.
Okay, have fun. Be safe.
Hi, Jerky.
Hi, Alice. How are you?
She can't hear you. Whatever.
Hey, Jack, come here. Say hi to your cousin.
No,
Alice.
she's gone. She's gone.
She's gone. Say hi to Uncle Dan.
Uncle.
How's B-ball?
Uncle.
It was good. It was a game, by the way.
You should tell Dan about how you got in trouble at school.
No.
Tell him. Man, why is his voice so low? I just noticed.
It's
how
not.
low
It's
it
still
is.
pretty high.
I don't know. Are you getting dick hair or something, son?
No.
Okay. All right, I'll
just
be
on my
able
balls, Dad.
to- It's like
Anyway,
my
well-
mustache is connected to my nutsack. Just one continuous curly-haired trail.
Gross. All right, brother. Well, good to talk to you. Welcome back to the podcast. Hopefully, we'll do this again soon.
Yes, sir. And hi to our friends. Gosh, I know. I mean, we got some great friends who listen to this podcast who put up with us.
Yeah, well,
And it's
as they
pointless.
should. A true friend would listen to this podcast.
This one had 2 stories: one paranormal and one about unwanted
BJ.
fellatio.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, enjoy, everybody. Bye, weirdos.
All right, see you soon, weirdos. We're back.
Bye. Bye. Bye.